In this video, we are going to be talking about how to get clean, minimalistic style photos. Now, first, before we get stuck in, it's important to understand what is clean, what is meant by clean, minimalistic style photography. Well, in my opinion, a clean, minimalist style photo is a photo that lacks any visual distraction. It's not cluttered up with loads of different elements. You've got 3, 4, maybe 5 different elements going on, simple shapes, simple colors, and it's obvious what the focus point of the photo is. Now, all of this does depend a lot on your framing, your composition, your lens, your camera, lighting, and so on. But we're going to be going through all of that in this video, so let's get started. Your environment plays a key role when it comes to clean, minimalist style photography. So we're looking for simple lines, simple shapes, and simple frames. So if you're going to an area like, let's say in London, you would be looking at areas like Canary Wharf, Bank, Liverpool Street. They're very modern. They've got modern buildings, modern architect. So the shape and the light in these areas is very, very clean. You don't have lots of trees where the light shines through and the light gets dispersed. You have sharp edges to buildings, so when the light passes through by these buildings, you get nice clean lines. So on the other hand, if I find myself in Shoreditch, there's a lot going on. There's loads of colors, loads of different shapes, loads of people, and this is a much more cluttered environment and makes it harder to find clean, minimalist style photography. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still find minimalist style photography in these areas. It's just a lot more difficult. So if you're starting out and you're looking to do minimalist style photography, I would suggest going to a modern area with modern architect to get started. Your lens choice plays a key role when it comes to producing minimalist style, clean photography. Now, it's a lot easier especially when you're starting out, to shoot with a longer lens, say something 50mm upwards up until like 120, for example, because you can zoom right into the image and cut out all the clutter. That being said, artists like Schaller, a photographer that I do enjoy a lot, he uses something like a 28mm, but do not compare yourself with a master. Start out with a longer lens. If you're beginning, get used to that, clearing out all of the clutter, and then as you progress, you can start to get wider and you can find your sweet spot. So don't just try and copy other photographers, get inspiration from other photographers like Alan Schaller, Van Ho, for example. Their photos are amazing, and it'll be silly for us not to look at other photographers and get inspired, get energy, get those creative juices flowing. But find your own way, find your own focal length, find your own camera body, find your own style of photography within the clean, minimalistic look. I personally started out with a 50mm, and it was something that I had lying around on my shelf with my Canon 5D. So that was just something that I naturally gravitated to. I don't really like zoom lenses, I like prime lenses, and I really got used to that lens. That's something else that I advise. Don't chop and change between your lenses, stick to one lens, get to know it, get to know exactly how to compose with that lens, how to get the framing with that lens. And then once, if you get bored, you feel like, okay, I've used the 50mm to its maximum capabilities, and I feel like I want to be closer into my frame, you can then step down to, say, like a 35 or a 28. I would personally go from a 50 to a 35. That's a great street photography focal length, and then find your balance from there. Is it something that I need to go wider? If you do, drop down to a 28. That might suit your photography style. If you want to be right in there with the crowds, a 20, like around markets and places like that, then a 28 will probably work really, really well. If you're more into sort of areas of architecture and you're going to be standing across the road and you're going to have a bit more space to work in and you know, getting those edges off the buildings, those clean lines, a 50mm will probably be better for your style of photography. Find your balance, practice, give it time. It's like riding a bike. You don't just start out with the best bike in the world. You start out with a basic bike and you figure out what kind of seat you want, what kind of brakes you want. Do you want a racer, a BMX, and so on? Give it time. Let photography sink in. Put in the hours, put in the work, and you'll find exactly the type of lens, the focal length that suits you and your photography style. Lighting plays a massive role when it comes to photography, and no doubt in minimalist clean style photography it plays a huge role. Now ordinarily I usually shoot with my subjects lit from behind, so backlighting, and this creates a lot of contrast in the scene. So as you can see from these pictures here, these are mostly backlit or even lit from the side, and I love the lines that it produces. I love the high contrast that it produces. You can also use this style of lighting when it comes to a cluttered image because it will help clear it up. On the other hand, if you've got an image that is more simplistic and minimalist in style, front lighting, flat lighting can be used to emphasize that style of photo, that frame. So if you take a quick look at these photos up on screen right now, these are front lit and they probably wouldn't work if it was side lit. So this is something that you just need to put the hours in so that you understand lighting and what suits your style of photography. A lot of photographers like backlit and that high contrast, but other photographers like a more front lit frame with low contrast and a more flat image. It's just something you'd have to put the hours in and figure out for yourself. What do you like? You're the photographer, you're the creative, you're in charge, you're gonna find your way. You just need to put the time in. So composition is probably the most important thing when it comes to, well, it is the most important thing when it comes to minimalist clean style photography. So composition is your frame, what you're leaving in and what you're leaving out. So you don't want to look for a cluttered area with a lot going on. We're looking for a frame that's nice and clean to start with. And then you can take a step back and start to add elements. But really we want minimal elements and we want it to be very simplistic and minimalistic so that the viewer, when they see that photo or when you see it yourself, you know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what the focus point is. You know exactly what's going on in that frame. It doesn't drag your eye from the left corner to the right corner to the bottom. It's not a lifestyle photo, it's minimalist. So the type of things that you can look for are minimalist sides of the building, or maybe it's the side of a van, or maybe it's a tree, or maybe it's the shadows from a building, tree, van, or something. So if you find yourself at a scene and there's a frame, there's always many frames within a frame. Take your time, don't rush. This style of photography, it was all about intention. Breathe, slow down, observe your environment. So other things that you can do is to look for leading lines. Strong leading lines will help you drag the viewer's attention to the focal point of the frame or the subject. Another technique that you can use is to use foreground elements to block off part of the scene. So you can see in this photo right here on the left hand side, the building continues, but what I've done, I've used this brick wall that is in shade and I've concentrated on the highlights. I've focused on the highlights, so this wall now becomes black and it creates a lot of minimalist negative space on the left hand side of the scene. If the photo continued to all the way through the left, it would look a lot more messy. It would still be pleasing, but it wouldn't be as pleasing. It doesn't drag your eye to the right hand side of the frame. Your eye would continue off to the left or start on the left and end on the right. Your eyes will be all over the place. But with this technique, I've blocked off the left hand side of the frame, and the right hand side of the frame is where I want the viewer's focus to be. Using this technique, you can make all sorts of shapes. You can shoot through phone boxes, you can shoot next to trees, use trees to block up elements of your frame. You can use a bus. There are many different shapes that we can use to block off cluttered parts of the environment and make it a much more minimalist style photo. So there are two techniques that I've just mentioned that you could go out and practice, and I would concentrate on one of them for one day or even a week, and then the other one for another day or another week or even a month, because you'll be surprised what kind of photos that you'll start to produce. So the first one is leading lines. Practice that. Practice it for a day, a week, or a month. And the second one is to use foreground elements to block off messy parts of our environment, like using a tree, edge of a car, building, phone box, and so on. Okay, so my last little bit of advice when it comes to minimalist style photography, or any type of photography really, is editing. We're going to touch base on editing very, very briefly. Now that you've captured a bunch of minimalist style photos, you take them onto your computer and you start to edit them in whatever your editing suite might be. My particular one is Lightroom. You want to enhance that image, the qualities of that image that it's already got. So for example, if the frame is backlit, it's going to be of high contrast already. You don't want to then start flattening out that image by raising the shadows and dropping down the highlights, because that's going to create a totally different look and feel to the image that you've captured. You want to just enhance and tweak what you've already captured. So if it's a high contrast image, just add a little bit more contrast by adjusting certain sliders. If it's a flat image already, edit in that direction. Don't try and make the flat image a high contrast image or a high contrast image into a flat image. Just try and enhance what you've got. When it comes to this type of photography or any type of photography, the more you go out there, practice, put the hours in, you're going to be editing in camera. And what do I mean by editing in camera? Because you put the hours in, you know your camera like the back of your hand, you know what you're trying to produce, you know your settings already. When you're there, you're capturing 90-95% of the image in camera. And then when you get it back to your desktop, you're just tweaking it just a little bit. You're not trying to make it into something totally different or totally new. Also, in my editing software, Lightroom, there's hundreds of sliders and loads of things that you can do to a photo. Now, I don't know half of them because I don't need to know half of them. I only need to know a few of them. I'm just tweaking the image a little bit. I'm not changing it into something totally different. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this video up there. I hope these tips helped you out. It'll be great to hear what you have to say in the comments below. If you got any questions, please do ask. I'll be running workshops in London, Paris, Lisbon, Barcelona. Sign up to my newsletter. Some of them are 1 day here in London. Some of them are 3-day trips. Some of them are a week-long trip. Get away from your daily grind. Grab your camera, be around like-minded people, and produce a fantastic body of work that you'll be proud to show your friends and family. Sign up to my newsletter. There's a link in the description below. Until next time, get out there and take those photos.